All right. And we are live back at Political Pulse Live for another insightful and hopefully very entertaining night of discussion of politics, local, statewide, and national related. Tonight we have a very special guest. This one's very near and dear to me because he is school board oriented, education oriented, and this is former school board representative Dan Foganholi. He's going to be joining us tonight, me and Lynn Sue.
Hi.
Say hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Bill on tonight, but he'll be back later on this week. So Lynn, I'll go ahead and have you take over here and trying to ask, unless Dan wants to introduce himself and says hi to America.
Yeah, no. Let's have Dan.
All right. No, thank you guys for having me on. I'm a little bit familiar, of course, with Mo. We came across each other a couple of times, and then, of course, funny enough, I ran into him earlier this week. So he mentioned the show, and we talked about the show, and I was more than. But thank you guys for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. All right.
So tell us about yourself and your experience on the Broward County School Board.
Yeah, sure. I am, wasn't born in Broward. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, but mostly raised here. Kid, went to, through the ringer. The governor liked that about me. It was a private school for a couple years and public school. But I grew up in South Florida. I come from a Brazilian family. I was the first Brazilian to ever be appointed to any office here in Florida. It was awesome to make history, and in a situation, we have a big community here, a big Brazilian community aren't represented enough. I feel that. So for the past couple, months, years, the Brazilian community together, get our voices united to make sure that we start fighting for that. The opportunity to serve on the Broward School Board has been changing. It literally has changed my life. And District 5, which is the best district. It's the most vibrant, and most passionate people, man. So it was an honor. So
tell me where District 5 is.
Yeah, so District 5 is literally in the center of Broward, right in the middle. It is Plantation, Sunrise, a little part of Tamarack, but we don't have any schools in Tamarack. Lauderhill and Lauderdale Lakes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it is right dead smack there. Completely landlocked.
So, yeah. And it's a majority, if anything, minority majority district. Like when it comes to we're a majority Black district, and for us it wasn't a challenge. I was raised in that community. Even though I lived in Coral Springs, I used to Lauderhill and Lauderdale Lakes all day, and my mom used to take me. That's where I used to get my hair cut, and a lot of family there. So for me, it was near and dear to my heart, but it also feels like that community forgotten and constantly ignored. The people for feeling like that, because I saw being there, it was a life-altering experience to be able to fight for those people, and it was truly an honor.
Wow. No, that's great. I mean, there's a big socioeconomic difference, though, right? When you're thinking of Plantation and, you know what I mean? And Lauderhill, I mean, there's a big socioeconomic difference there. So well, we'll go into that a little bit more later, but so tell me, you were appointed when? And what happened? Why were you appointed? You know what I mean? So people know, how come the governor's, people might think the governor's playing dictator. So
the governor was doing his job.
Correct.
I know, but a lot of people can misconstrue that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, Republican or Democratic governor, trust me, if they have an opportunity to appoint people, they will. So in my situation, my seat was vacated. So Dr. Osgood was in that seat before. She ran, if some of you remember, she ran against Joseph Carter. She won that race, and she was in the state Senate. Just to give you a little backstory myself of why I even got in the situation. You know, I had no interest in running for board. I had no interest in being on the school board. I had saw that the seat was vacated and there was nobody being, you know, appointed. And in the newspaper, it came out that the governor was thinking about not appointing anyone to the seat. I changed my mind quickly, and I said, no, if there's somebody that needs to step up, I'll step up, because without a representative, and that community needs it. So threw my name in the hat. Really a week or two, got a call, drove up to Tallahassee. We stayed there a night. The next morning, spoke to the governor. We sat down and we talked about this in this community. My heart is to do better and fight for people. So give me the opportunity, I'll do so. You know, that's what he asked of me. He said, you know what, just go give it your best shot. Go represent these people. And I was appointed in May. So we had so I was the first out of the appointed. The other four came a little bit later, and the reason why, because the grant, and it had names of 5 people for them to remove the school board, the names. She had left, so the other 4 were removed, which gave 4 more people, giving us 5 on the school board.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Report, you know, talking about, you know, malfeasance and negligence. That report recommended the governor remove those people, and that's what he did.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so you got
and I mean,
Broward there, Lynn.
All right,
no, I've heard about a lot of craziness going on in Broward. I mean, it is, you know, the school board there. I remember I was reading the news, and like a school board member took kids to like a gay bar.
Yep.
Like children. I'm not talking about like teenagers, right? I think like they were kids.
Yeah, elementary age students.
Yeah, elementary students to a gay bar in Wilton Manors. And I thought like, wow, that's a little.
It was educational, they said.
No, I was thinking like, did we finish
Didn't raise
reading, writing, and arithmetic? Did we finish
didn't raise the reading
standards
already? At all.
I don't know, maybe. Hold on, Dan, your signal's cutting out and we are missing the most important things you're saying. Can you repeat that again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, it's the disturbing part. I think it's important to say, and something that we were looking at. So first of all, with that situation, that was board member Leonardi, and she's on there right now.
Oh, that's her?
So,
good.
And that's something that's disturbing. And we looked at the map of the enrollment declining. Okay, in Broward County, our district and public schools were declining. And of the state, of every district that was declining or increasing, matched the people that voted for the governor and the people that, and what happens in Broward, we are decreasing. People are taking their kids out, putting them in charter schools or private schools and home schools. So they're taking their kids out, and everywhere, Miami-Dade, increasing students. They became what now the 3rd biggest school district. Palm Beach increasing. I think it's not the fact that they don't trust public schools. They don't trust that's where we're at. So I think what people need to wake up to is the people are speaking kids out of the school because the leadership in the school district is not there. So that's one thing, you know, we look at the priorities that people are putting in the school board. What's the priority here? You know, for us, we want to make sure these kids are learning. They're learning, you know, they're excelling. But for us, it doesn't look like that. For a lot of us, a lot of parents, that is the priority. That is not the priority.
Yeah,
I think our priorities are all wrong in the school boards right now. I think they're it's crazy. I can't believe what's going on with them. Yeah.
Yeah, optics would let people think you. It's kind of like watching a soap opera, but it's not. It's not. It can't be funny because it's at the end of the day, the kids who are being impacted. It's like you want to be entertained by what's happening on the dais, but at the end of the day, you're like, these are the people we're entrusting with the leadership,
correct,
or the direction where our children's education is going. And it's like one of the things that we're going to bring this up in just a moment, where we have this one person who ran for the seat. Whether he was ineligible or not ineligible, he knew he couldn't swear in. So it was like a huge waste of time and voters' efforts. And it's just like, these are the people that are fighting for the seats and that we're trusting with our children's education. So hopefully through this past election and hopefully through you being on the show, people are really opening up their eyes and becoming more aware of how important these seats really are and how impactful they can be.
No, but here's the thing. So I don't know. You guys know that there was a runoff in North Miami Beach, and I'm proud to be a part of that campaign that we won. That runoff, yes. So Jay Chernoff is now in office. But here's the funny thing. I was talking to a neighbor, and we saw each other in the elevator, and I said, "Hey, did you go vote?" And he said to me, "Vote for who?" Between all the crap between the two of them, I decided not to vote. And that's a problem, right? So there were smear campaigns that, like the opposition was like sending text messages on their behalf saying, that they are a certain way of, very radical thinking, right? Like January 6th supporters, for example, like that kind of, Trump supporter. And of course, this is a nonpartisan race. So they just wanted to smear these people so that they would just, so that the people will just get confused about voting. And that is exactly what they did, right? Which was to take a voter out so that they can, dominate the voting pool, right? The voters. They could bring their voters in while keeping our voters out because our voters are unsure about who is the good person to vote for. Right. So, I mean, this is like such a common thing going on right now, and this is why our show is here, is hoping to shed a light and let people know about what's going on. And I mean, this is just one angle, right? We still encourage you to do further research and learn more about whatever it is your candidates are. And but we're providing a platform for people to share and talk about what it is that's important to them. So with that, I got my shout out for Jay Chernoff in North Miami Beach. He is not a Republican. I support him because he's an honest man. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm standing. But anyway, back to the school board.
Yeah, we support.
I'm so excited about it. It's good. I mean, like, when politicians are spending city money on. Oh goodness, hold on 1 second.
Her shout out. I was calling her back.
I know, my shout out. Right. So when
shout out.
No, when politicians are spending city money and city funding and city property on their own personal campaign, it doesn't work, right? So that's it just doesn't work. Anyway, okay, great. Sorry for that interruption. Okay,
so I have a question. So how do you feel about the current board that's up there now that you're no longer on the board? And there's newly elected, newly sworn in individuals on the board. How do you feel about the board? Are you confident that these people are there and that they can make, on the needs that you see that are there in the district? Because obviously the governor did a good job letting he appointed people, and they came in and you guys did a bang up job, and now it's like, okay, we're back in the win.
Back to normal. I think it's tough because when you look at the appointed, right? We were appointed. We came in on a mission. Like there was everybody had that mindset. We have as much done as possible, and that attitude brought a lot of change. We were able to do a first thing. We want to the current thing that they had. They wanted to return to look at the Tri-County area. You're talking about Palm Beach, Dade County, Broward County. We were the only ones They had a goal of setting us back. We want to be an A district. That was the goal. That is the lowest bar you can send, and it's not going to work for any parent here. We're not there. So we want to be we want to be an A district next year. So we're going to change that vision, and we're going to start being aggressive, and we're going to go now. We passed millage rate in 15 years. We passed a lot of things that took care of schools that were for years. One of them was Parkway Middle School. It didn't have anything, and we took care of that. We did that as a board. Now, that feeling for us to move.
Pride. I was Cavalier.
There you go, Cavaliers. That's what emotion. Now, looking at that last board they had, the first one, it looked like they just rewind. They went right back to it. They went right back to the attitude. And then you see this, right? When you look at the teachers union and you see how they pushed, and it also now they're under control, because if you don't have people that are strong, coming out and hold you accountable, we're going to get things done. We're going to do certain things. If you don't have that personality, you're going to get steered all over the place, and you're not going to get anything done. And the problem is going to continue and going backwards. So, I hope that they have it in, to turn it for me. Even me, people, came up to me and called me like the pit bull, and you're the enforcer. And I'm like, I'm literally the nicest guy you'll ever meet. I've never, but it's because I wanted to stand up for the children. Hey, this is wrong. Cover up. If there is people stealing and ripping off our kids and parents, I'm not going to stand for that. I'm not going to be okay. It doesn't matter. So, but now it looks like I'm the bad guy when I was the one that said, wait a second. So I always try to say this, people make it political, and it's not about right or left. It's about right or wrong. So I really hope that some people stand up for it, but I don't see it happening. I see it now. They're getting what they want. They're getting.
It's back to business as usual.
As usual. That's it. Start cutting people's mics off. Stop. Talk about what we want to talk about. Get our little wins on the side. Take pictures, and then keep it moving, and nothing gets done.
Yeah. No, wow. I already saw that. There was a video out. Speaking of things going back to normal and cutting mics off and like holding applause, I saw a video tonight of a principal, Delvin
King.
There we go. And I saw that video, and I love the way he was like putting it. He didn't throw anyone's name out there. He was like, I hope we don't go backwards. I hope we don't go back to what we, let's continue going forward. And I love the way he kind of like directed that. And everyone in the audience kind of knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? But and in reference, and I'm not afraid to say it, the man was straight up saying, don't go back and rehire this Cartwright lady. Okay. I don't know if you're aware of this, Lynn, but
I know. She was voted out 5-4.
Cool. So you already went. So they're like, don't go backwards. These are principals telling you don't do this. These are parents telling you don't do this. Yep. These are people that worked with the lady and worked in the district for years telling you don't.
No, but you know that they are trying to say that it was like there's a sunshine rule violation, right? Sunshine law violation.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, out of the blue, like they're firing Cartwright. And it's like some kind of collusion going on in the background, and this is how the whole thing gets all spinned out of shape here, because like that's the.
Oh, go ahead. I want to hear.
You got the right one on the show. So for me, I'm the one that raised the motion to get rid of superintendent. My only regret was not doing it that night. My regret was should have done it a month ago. Now, in the situation, that item that we were, the audits, okay? So we spoke about the audits. First of all, I'm not going to I had talked to lawyers beforehand. I've talked to lawyers, I asked, and I said, hey, is this violation of sunshine? Because off these audits and their findings, it's not okay. It's not about the item. It said that there was going to be action taken by the board. That's the action I decided to superintend. There was no sunshine violation. If people were left out. Some media said that being not allowed in the building. Okay, that would be a sunshine violation. It wouldn't be a sunshine violation on the board. It would be on the superintendent and her staff. So if they left out of the building, people were held outside. Hey, she should be held accountable for that as well, because that's not doing business as usual. There were reporters in the room. We were moving forward. I made an action to an item that said an action was going to be taken. So people were surprised, the ones that were surprised. So those audits and those findings, like I said, you want to rip off our kids, we're not standing for that. And the action I'm going to take is to terminate the superintendent that allows it to happen. Because those happen, Lynn, I will say that they're still there working. They're still on staff, and they're still there. Because there's a leader in place that is scared to take action. And we need somebody there that's going to do something.
That's right.
Well, Tori's going to have a tough time in the next administrative group.
Got the right one in there. I have faith in Tori.
I have faith in Tori too.
He's a good friend. You know, it was tough because while we were on the board, I said we because we weren't able to talk. You know what I mean? So we have respect for Sunshine, and we weren't able to the board. You know, the board meetings.
Right.
But he is a man of integrity, and he's a fighter. And I believe that for him, he looks very strategically about things. It's not going to be very good for that time, but it's going to be a rough 2 years. I was proud of her. Her first meeting, she's doing great. But I just hope that they're and what's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. And as long as you put it out there, believe that, bring it to a vote. Bring it to a vote and allow people to put on record what they're standing up for and what they're allowing. You'll see very clear of who stands up for wrongdoing and corruption and who's going to stand up against it.
I believe Tori's going to be there as the flashlight. And I don't know if he wants to be there any longer than 2 years, but he's definitely going to be. And I hope in his 2-year time frame, one thing happens, and that you really get to see how everyone else on that dais is. I mean, everybody from left to right. And again, because I've been watching it for years, this is my motivation to run. Even if I didn't win, what I set out to do was accomplished, which was to make sure that the seat 8 was flipped. And it was. And though it was flipped, I'm not confident that the person that has it now has the best interest at heart. I'm ashamed to say stuff, Dan. I've never been ashamed to say it, and I ain't scared to say it now. But I'm just saying I'm not confident in this board. And I'm very happy that Tori's there and that Brenda's there, because at least they have two people that will champion and that will fight for those students in Broward County. But I really hope that their being there is simply just to highlight the corruption and the fact that people are going to try and do stuff in front of the voters. And this time I hope that people are going to pay attention, because, again, it's been such an interesting topic on the news. And, again, it's just so much things that revolves around the Broward School Board. That it's just, you can't keep your eye out of it now. So now hopefully people are paying attention, and in 2 years you'll make a very good decision, and in 4 years make a better one, and there will be change on that board. So
yeah, but I'm thinking, like, if there's a lot of people who are migrating out of the public school system going to private and homeschooling, right? I mean, that could cause them to care less about what's going on in the school board. And at the end of the day, like, I think it's the people who don't have the choice that are going to be stuck in the system with, like, crappy school board members and irresponsible superintendents, right? So, I mean, that audit that was done, like, I think it should be, like, we should publicize it as much as possible so that, people could see what's going on with it and what's going on with her, so that when they do vote, whether they do vote to take her back in, there would be, an upheaval, right, on that one. So what scares me is that business as usual, like what I can see, because, like, don't we have other issues that we need to resolve, like safety in schools and raising the standard of, Broward education versus all this little popularity contest that we're doing. And, that's just my 2 cents. But anyway,
no. Even if you're pulling your kids out to be homeschooled, private school, charter school, or public school, you don't care. So we're going to care who's in charge, because by the end of the day, not only that, but what you were taking from us. So now we're paying double. And so for me, and my dad always taught me, if you're not a steward of your money or what God has given you, then why in this situation, we've clearly mismanaged money. We've clearly mismanaged us.
Yeah.
And yet we're asking for more, double now. Then we'll be okay. Construction. Then I'll understand how to fix our schools and fund our schools. You're not going to do it. And I said that on the last day of when I was on the board. And by the end of the day, people are saying, well, my have been for the last 12 years, and they still haven't fixed the problem. And you want more money, and you think so. By the end of the day, it's mismanagement, but the community does care, because if in our public school, maybe people would bring in their kids back. They would. If we talk implementing uniforms in public schools to say, hey, kids don't need to worry about what they're wearing, the staff uniform. They're in a level playing field for security, right? One of the things is if every school had uniforms, it would be a good security. We would know that's just a simple thing that I believe you can make an action. It would cost some money, but that's money. That's a good way you can make change, right? But I believe that there again, you're asking for more, and it's the taxpayer that's being taken advantage of, and private charter taken advantage of.
Yeah, they can.
Well, I think it's okay. Go ahead, Mo.
You go, Lynn. You go. Ladies first.
No, I was gonna say there's a, but I've talked a lot already. So no, I think there's a catch-22 going on, right? So basically, the school standards are very low. Parents care about their kids' academic education, so they send them somewhere else. Therefore, there's now. I mean, if we ever do school choice, we would. I mean, which we do have school choice now. But basically, when we do school choice and we want the money to follow the child, there'd be less money going into public schools, right? Because they'd be paying somewhere else if the money follows the child. So that's why there's this thing where we can't pass school choice, because you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like we can't take the money out because they're not improving the schools. The people are not going there. It's just this, we're circling in the same, in this Groundhog Day issue over and over again and we don't get it right, and we don't know how to, we don't want to do the right thing to actually push that agenda forward, right? So then schools are not getting money. Teachers are complaining about being underpaid. And I agree with teachers being underpaid. But the thing is, like, what in any business, right? I mean, I'm a businesswoman. So in any business, like, if you're not responsible for your bottom line, and our bottom line is our kids can read and write, right? And as being an American, the United States needs to have a standard that sets it above everybody else, right? At least we have to be above the mean of the world, not below. and that's something that I think it's really overlooked. Like, the focus is really, really off. So anyway, that's, what were you gonna say, Mo?
Well, what was I gonna say? Well, I mean, like you said, they've been asking for more and more money, and it's okay. We, as people, especially when it comes to children and education, we don't mind spending the money when we can. Like she says, for business, they don't mind spending money if you see the results or you see the increase benefits of spending the money. That's what you do. But when you're asking for money to fix a problem that was already there and that has never been fixed or resolved or addressed, even though you've increased the amount of money, it's like, what are you doing? So I would be okay with spending the money. Taxpayers are okay with spending money if we can see results. But what we have seen is not only the lack of results, but the degradation of our school system. Because like Tori says this often, he's a product of this school district. I'm a product of the school district. I know many of people that were products of the school districts, and we we're graduated and moved on and become successful and raised families. So, there was promise. I can't say the same thing about this generation of children coming out of the school district. Yeah. And it's not their fault. It's the district's fault. They have not put the money into educational resources. They have not noticed the areas where these kids are failing and put things in places to improve performance. The issues that are very important are not being addressed. We're worried about all the wrong things, and then you're asking for more money without stopping the bleeding on other issues. So I just wanted to, that was my comment to what you said about them and raising the millage and asking for more money and things like that. And again, being a product of this, and again, you were a product of this community, it's important to us. We want to see improvements, but unfortunately that's not the case. And it's very discouraging when the most important thing is whether or not we're going to keep the same superintendent or not, or send her away or take her back. And this is not where our priorities should be. So, yeah, it's sad. It's unfortunate. And this is why, again, we do the show so that way people can become more aware of what's really going on.
So tell us some things about the superintendent as to like why, like, let's say, when the next board member are sworn in and take office and start working and voting and legislating, what would it be that, why should Broward County members, residents not want Cartwright back into as a superintendent?
Geez, and again,
that bad?
No, listen, so it's a tough one because again, I raised an issue of the leadership. It always got personal, right? You saw other board members get emotional. You saw other board talk about how great of a person she was. Oh, she's good. Oh, she loves doing this. At heart, I agree. I agree with you. I think she does have a heart, but I believe that she got in with the wrong people. I believe that we need in Broward, especially to fix where we are as a country. You need leadership qualities. You're going to have to, you may have to let go of some people. You may have to have tough conversations happening. What my problem was, I saw the same behaviors that were happening that got rid of continue. I saw the same things continue to happen, the same toxic culture. We saw audits come forward, nothing being done. I saw things that needed to be addressed being hired to tell you what to do instead of you doing them. And then for me, it was just that turned everything into politics. Because like you said, this is a nonpartisan thing. Best for our children. We want to do what's best for the kids. Why is it turning political? Why is it looking like they're lobbying and almost counting votes here or trying to do something? That's not what it became that. So it became obvious to me. It became obvious to people. It became obvious, I believe, to other board members to say, wait a second, this is not what's best for the kids trying to play politics and get by. So for me, it's think about the children. We want to talk about academics. But when it comes to a school board, we have a accountable. We have a responsibility to do the right thing and make sure that we watch these things. Here in our corporate building is not being done right. If people are stealing, if people are doing wrong things, corrupting with stuff, you can't even get to academics when you're doing all this stuff. You need to address these things. It needs to be the person to be aggressive to do it. And I just don't think that she is the correct leader for Broward County. Just not the correct leader that we need.
I agree.
No, the other question is, I think the school safety is probably something that is on most people's mind, especially in Broward, right? Was there anything that she had done to make sure that things are not going to happen again? Anything to ensure safety for our schools?
That is something, right? For me, I am a huge fan of our security team. We need them more. We need it. That's number one. Same thing as teachers. We need to take care of our security, our guardians, and we have people in place to make sure that they can monitor. That's the way you're going to prevent it. SROs on campuses, but again, you look at 5. I knew of situations that our schools did not have SROs. We did not have police officers in forward, and they would come to the board meeting and said, "There's SROs in every single campus. Not on mine. There were not. There's decisions being made, responsibilities being shifted to principals, but then also stuff taken away that they don't have control. And I believe it's a miscommunication lead up to, and it needs to be addressed as soon as possible, because security will be the issue. It will be an issue. Is the way it's being set up right now. You're taking all the power away from the principal, and then when something, blame right on them. And I don't believe that's right. So I think in this situation, it's something that I know that they just got a new security chief. And it's something that they're working on. See that they're going to make progress, because that is a huge concern, is the kids' safety.
So far, what is being discussed right now, or what is being planned to be put in place for that you have heard?
Well, yeah, number one is, I can't get into it, totally, because of course a lot of the things
sunshine.
I think it's close security, but we want about basic things that we talked about, whether it be locks, cameras, whatever the case is, take care of the same way. Across the board. If you're going to do something to the school out west, I want it to be done in my area as well, to make sure my kids are as safe as the kids in another district. A lot of times we weren't seeing that. So again, every school needs to make sure that they're up to par, that they are measure that we're putting in place is across the board. That needs to be number one. Everybody needs to be on the same page.
There
Great.
you go.
That's cool.
About time.
So wait, how about just a little back to the appointment issue. I know you were appointed, and how did the appointees of Governor DeSantis rock the boat here in Broward County?
Oh, loved it and embraced us like nothing happened. No, they.
You mean the people? You're such a liar.
Listen. No. It's, you know what? Believe it or not, a lot of people. It became nonpartisan. It was refreshing, because a lot of people says, whether you're Democrat or Republican, you were sick of it. People are sick of it.
Oh yeah.
Listen, just talk about kids. We want a good education. We want them to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel good off my vaccinated, or it's simple. And these things that we can agree on, right? I always say, political party is, if you focus on issues, we'll agree. We're going to agree when it comes to education. But right. For me, it's, so when that happened, a lot of people were saying it was a new chair. Tori Alston did a great job allowing people to speak. We want to listen to you. We want to let your time a little bit. It's okay. Reading written comments, every single off the microphone. I want to make sure that this is clear. Chair Tori Alston never cut off a mic off in the first day we had a new chair right now. Think about it. The first day I cut off the mic. So I want to make sure it's clear that we wanted to give a chance and show a change of what, right? You could talk about it on the campaign all day, but if you could do it and add an opportunity, a lot of people say that they were really supportive. I saw people that were critical. Lynn, if I told you the first hated me, to the fact that was, they were destroying me, putting articles, and then by the time I left, I had the same people saying, man, I was so wrong, and thank you so much for what you got, for standing up for us and standing up for the parents, families, for the kids, for the teachers. That is who we work for. I'm not here for my political gains. Governor DeSantis, again, nothing. He didn't go in there with a plan and a master plan of what the governor wanted to do, as much as he said, go in there and represent these people. But I guarantee you the same things are not being on the other side. It's not.
No. Well, the fact that he had to make appointments, let's just let you know that there was already some situations occurring in the district that would concern parents. You had to make 5 appointments. and the fifth one, I mean, yeah, she was elected into another position, but her name was on the list. So ultimately, he would have had to make 5 appointments anyway. He just got to make one earlier than earlier than he was supposed to.
Exactly. And I will say this to add on to that, Lynn, and I'm going we removed the superintendent. We made the move to fire a superintendent. And I want to make sure this is clear, because this new board may make a decision, but I will say this. The pressure is going to be on them, not on us. Because the deceit is shown for corruption of what we warned you about. When something happens, that something is through the cracks and again happens, which it will from now 3 months, we're going to have to sit in a situation and say, I told you so. And I don't want to be in that position. So our new board says, you know what, let's move forward. Let's find a strong leader that we can agree on. Let's show like we have an opportunity to start brand new. And that's what I wanted to make sure that this board had the opportunity to start, a fresh start. That's what Broward deserves. So hopefully they take it and run with it. And now here we go again. I want to make sure that they spell my name right on the next people that. Just make sure you spell my name right.
Okay. Now I'll show your name so people could spell it right too.
There you go.
No, I think it's well, you shed some light on some things already. I think you've done a fantastic job for that, right? And now it's really up to the people. They have to still hold these board members that they elected accountable, because it's easy to just slip into business as usual, and it's really up to us. If we just sit there complacently, like, I hate to go back to the North Miami Beach election, right? But you have to get that, like, there were 50 people who were actively every day making phone calls, knocking on doors. It was the work of a community that got that man elected. It wasn't the work of the candidate himself. It's not the work of the board member themselves. Sometimes they may fall out of, I mean, like, we have to be on top of that as well and make sure that they are accountable for I mean, how else would people know that you did a fantastic job, right, Dan? I mean, it's because they were watching you, and they have to continue to watch every single, elected member, just to know that they are doing what they're supposed to do. Because the minute we stop voting, the minute we stop commenting, the minute we stop attending these meetings or not pay attention to what's going on in our, on the daises of every single city, of every single county school board, it's so easy to just fall back into business as usual. And then we have nobody else to blame but ourselves. So, I mean, like, this is where we all get to take on personal responsibility. So, yeah, I think that's very important.
Point, right? But this is the issue with Broward. Broward, we've had the people that volunteer there. We have parents that are very involved. People that show up, Facebook groups that are. The problem is the board never listened. When we start listening, that's the new behavior.
Right? Cutting off mics.
Exactly. We're gonna ignore you. So you can come if you want to, and they will ignore you just like the last board. Now, this is something to be said. These current board members that are there, they used to bring it up all the time that they were bullied by the last board, being, treated by the last board. Their moves that they had before. They have become what they've hated for so long. That is the truth. Current board members look at those, they mirror the same behaviors, they're doing the same thing, and they're being. So now they're going to be stepping into this position that once you give someone power, once you see what you do with it. Are you going to do what you're going to be a new leader and bring change to Broward because you're doing the same thing they did?
Okay. So what do you think, like, since you said we should prepare, right? In the next election, when we are electing, how many seats are up for re-election or up for election in the next election cycle?
I'm not mistaken, it's going to be 3. In this situation, the one that in District 1, if it's office again, it's going to be a 2-year term. It wouldn't be a 4-year term. So again, before, which would be 3 seats, possibly 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 3 seats, possibly 4. Now, if somebody was interested in running for a school board, what would you recommend? Since you had also been
Yeah. So
did we freeze?
Number one,
okay.
No, we're good.
Sorry.
I was just number one, if you want to make sure you get, backing, but if it's going to be someone, trying to run, of course you can just do it yourself, but of course support is important. I'll tell you that it's a very daunting race. Like school board is very, it's a lot of people may not pay attention to it, so you sort of have to convince a lot of people for it. But if you're going against an incumbent, know what they stood for, what they didn't stand for. Start doing homework now. You want to start looking at the points of what you're going to focus on, and you have to plan. What are you doing? What do you plan on doing better? So a lot of people would focus on their opponent or focus on what is wrong with the district. What you're planning to do to make it better. So come in with a clear, concise plan of just stick to it. You go and talk to as many people as you can. And like you said, it's making calls, it's knocking on, working. But community, you have to start making it out to the community. Volunteer schools and help. So, we can start hearing your voice and start hearing your plan. But that's my recommendation. Start.
Or get $100,000 in crowdfunding going on. I agree with everything you said, Dan, because again,
yeah,
I agree with everything you said. Get involved in the community, because again, there were other candidates in that district too that did a phenomenal job. But sometimes it helps to have $100,000 and a made up background story. So
money. Yeah.
This is what getting more attention, because who was actually doing work in the community versus who was just paying to get that seat. So again, this is going to be one of those times where I think we're going to find out. We're going to learn. Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm glad that Tori's up because he was one of the community.
Yeah.
And so Dan, you were going to say something else?
Lynn, those are two different ways. If you want to run school board.
No, trust me. So I had an opponent in the primary who also threw in $250,000, right? And it was almost an instant win, right? So, but we put up a good fight.
I mean, it don't hurt. This $250 million.
Heck, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, you can print as many signs. You can hire as many people to do all the work for you. On top of whatever else you're doing. So that does give you an advantage.
Do the work or pay a lot of money to make it look like you do the work.
Well, I couldn't say whether he did or did not do because I didn't see it, but the point is, like, definitely there was a lot of help, at precincts, polling stations, and stuff like that. So, I mean, apparently it works, right? It really does work, and this is what's scary about it. So, if you can win the hearts of the people that are in your district, I think that is something that's most important. Then money couldn't make much of an effect, right? Yeah. I mean, like I'm going back to the same election that that we just won yesterday. I mean, he was a termed out commissioner before. He had done so much for the community. He was super honest. Everybody knows him. He was born and raised in North Miami Beach. So, much the same way how, we're all connected to the community. How do you connect with the community? So if you're interested in, running for Broward School Board, like, it's time to start now. Like, start building, attending those meetings, right? And knowing what's going on, and also, like, whose seat you're running in. Move if you have to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Dan.
Move to District 5 if you have to rise.
Yes. Sunrise is a great community.
So, so basically, I mean, like, if you had to move because you wanted to, represent certain people, then do it. I don't know, whatever.
Somebody else on the bus. I mean, the person in District 5 seat right now kept moving around trying to win the seat anywhere. He finally got one. Just throwing that out. Right. Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Doing it. Whatever it takes.
Okay, no.
Listen, hey, the man was, tenacious and trying to pursue a seat anywhere, and he finally got one.
Well, you got to commend him for that, right? I mean,
that's something you can share with the students. Don't give up on your dreams. So,
That's it.
Even if you gotta move around from city to city and from position to position, you'll make it someday. So,
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Again, that's I'm gonna reserve some comments. It's
Yep.
a family show.
So we'll see. I mean, we'll have a whole 2 years to talk about. I mean, we have our whole future to talk about them, and we'll definitely invite you back if you're still going to be on, Dan. If you're still going to be on top of the school board here, we can discuss and see how they vote and what's going on, and if they're making any improvements that are vital to our kids, beneficial to the families, and so we'll definitely stay on top of it so that they can so the people will know whether the ones that they elected are working or not.
That's it. We have to, like you said, we have to stay on top of it, make sure we're here. Of course, once serving in that seat, I leave it alone. Even my first week off, not being on the board, I was tired. My wife didn't like it so much, but she understood. She on the board anymore. I use I still care about these kids and our community. I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And if we know it's the wrong thing, then that's going to be for what we're looking at. Because you still have your minds, but you need to understand if it's something that's going to show and nobody's going to step up to the plate to fight for our schools, I'll be more than happy to do it again. More than happy to. And now, like I said, it's a perfect list of things that we got accomplished, and we want to continue to do good things for Broward. So
I have a question, and I'm not sure if you may know the answer, or this is like a supervisor for elections thing or a state, whatever. So now with Rod Velez's situation, he obviously can't swear in for the seat, at least not now.
Yep.
And so do you know if it's going to be one of those situations where the governor gets to appoint again? Is there a special election? Do you know what happens going forward with that particular seat?
Yeah, sure. So he didn't, what I know, he doesn't have clemency. So of course he can't get swore in the other day, which was on Tuesday. If he swore in, it would be a 3rd-degree felony.
Ooh.
So I know that they're working on it. His lawyers are working on it, trying to get that already for that election. Even if he has a hearing or a trial scheduled the other day, it may be too late, or may need to appoint someone in that position again. And no, I haven't heard it. I know what you're trying to say.
No, I'm not trying. No, that was genuinely a curious question again, because the whole school board election has been one of those things that I watched like it was a presidential race. Just being honest, and even up to that part too, it's like, okay, this man's about to commit a crime running for school board. Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah.
And like, if he knew that going into this, why did he waste the voters' time? Was his objective just to make sure this other lady didn't win? Who knows? And at the same time, I'm happy to know that the governor has an opportunity, because at least, hopefully this is an opportunity to put somebody else on the seat, kind of even up the odds a little bit. So, and people want to know. They want to know their vote counts, or how, they want to be abreast of these things. So
his defense. So I know Rod, and even in a situation, I don't know opinion. I don't think he knew. I really don't think he knew in a situation. I think he thought it was. So it's not somebody. I don't think he has any. I do believe he does have a heart to serve. Like he really does. Like we've had conversations. I really hope it gets worked out. I really do. People have to be appointed. If that's the case, hey, if the governor calls, I'll take the call. But it's a guy. Rod is a nice guy, and I hope he figures it out.
Yeah, I mean,
my goodness, our governor is a very busy man. I mean, he has to appoint a lot of seats. I mean, like recently in Miami-Dade County, one of our Miami-Dade County commissioners was arrested. Right, Joe Martinez was arrested, and he had to appoint somebody else. So there's appointments going on everywhere, and on top of whatever it is that he has to deal with in the state. So he's been busy.
Yeah, busy. I feel like it's and it's tough because a lot of it comes from Broward or Miami that are just like, we're the bad kids. Where I don't, come on, man. Like, why is it all, for us?
Why is it all here?
It's all here.
Well,
and
in all
I know
fairness,
why. I'm not going to say nothing about it.
there was a state attorney in Tampa, right? In Hillsborough County.
Grow our viewership.
Yeah. Yep.
What's that?
Yeah.
It's
Notice it's all the blue areas. That's having
I ain't say nothing, Lynn.
it's
I said
and it's
nothing.
and even just go back to the school board again. One of the schools, I saw it earlier today. She said we're one of the last liberal school boards. That's not something to be proud of. That's
Like, why was that even important?
like, it's a sad thing,
Like,
because some
it's a non-biased, it's a non-partisan seat, and your whole objective is we're the last liberal school board. Like, you're showing your partisan.
Yes, but the thing is, this is what I've learned. A lot of people will prefer you to be lying and stealing as long as you're a Democrat and not a Republican. They're okay with it. A Republican. That's where they're at. So I hate to say that. Because I'm like, wait a second. Like, this has nothing to do with partisanship. This has nothing to do with, and it's sad, but I feel like here in Broward, it's sort of like a point that people will blindly look at it. They don't want to hear about it because that's it. It's red or blue. I don't care about
right.
And so
no, you guys saw that. You guys saw the Stop Woke Act, right? HB 7 that was signed. I was there at the signing in Hialeah, and the Supreme Court ruled it as unconstitutional, and then we're gonna appeal it now. But the whole argument behind that is they're saying that it's because Governor DeSantis does not want people to learn about slavery. I'm like, that's not the point.
No,
that is so not the point. Like,
yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, you're totally misunderstanding here.
Because if they read it, it's got nothing to do with that. I don't like people that misrepresent that bill.
Don't say gay. Remember?
Yeah, well, they didn't read that one either.
Exactly.
Again, if we improved our educational standards, people might want to start reading more. And maybe they would comprehend while reading.
What made it?
That's not what it said.
So
I'm just throwing that out there.
That bill
again, I'm someplace where I don't feel the repercussions of
No, you're
a lack of.
Wait, we're missing Dan. He was a little delayed. Okay, go ahead, Dan.
I was saying when it came to the parental rights and education bill, that was the shortest bill. I think it was. So people were, for you not to get it, I'm like, wait, you could just read it in one reading. But people were like, no, it says don't say gay. And I'm like, not once did it say that. For me, it's very simple, man. I don't think we just don't want our kids learning that, and you shouldn't be and my son is in that age. He's going to school now. Do I feel right now? I do not. I do not. Let's start with that simple question. You're putting your son in elementary school next year. Do I feel comfortable? Look, Dad, I'm walking into have faith in the system. I don't. Come, you want to say hi? Look at.
Oh, hi.
Say hi.
Oh my gosh.
Hi. By the way, congratulations to you and him. I heard he's
Hey, congratulations to you too, man. Babies. We're new daddies.
Yeah. That's right.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Reminder, man. Like you said, Mo, it's our kids. It's every single, mommy. It's, we fight for our children. And, I said the same thing. I was in a board meeting less than 5 hours after I had a baby. I was in a board meeting, and my wife simply said that. She says, I know you had a baby, but you have to attend to the 1,000. You have to go attend to them. So we have that mindset, and I take I took the job very, very serious, because when you talk about our kids or our schools and our, like, they're my own, they are my own, and we need more leaders in the district that feel that way also.
100%.
No, absolutely. I mean, they're going to share this world and this country with your son. So,
Yeah.
However they turn out is also as important as however your children turn out as well.
That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to thank you so much, Dan, for your service.
Thank you.
mean, even we wish we wish Broward was lucky enough to have you for longer than 6 months, but I mean, we'll take what we can get, and we will continue to hold accountable whoever it is that's in office in your place and all the other elected officials. So with that said, I think this is a good ending to our day today. Thank you so much. We hope to have you back on again in the future, if you don't mind.
Always. Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
But thank you.
Okay.
You guys.
All right. Well, yeah.
Supporter. And definitely, I look forward to the future, all of you, and coming in there also. So I know we're already working, whether it be 2 years from now, 4 years from now, for you guys and your campaigns and your futures, and I look forward to it. Well, we're going to turn, Broward into, and that's what we want to do.
Awesome. Okay.
Awesome.
Get Broward back to common sense.
That's it. And that's it.
That's it. We don't want to regret. We just want it to, be common sense. Logical.
All right, Mo, you want to sign us off today?
Yes, as always, it is a pleasure. I want to thank our guest, Dan Foganholi. Again, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your insight and your experience with the Broward School Board. I wish you a lot of luck in the future in all your endeavors. And again, congratulations to you and the new addition to your family. As always, folks, it's a pleasure for Ryan, Lynn, Sue, and myself, Mo, the unpolitician. Until next time, please make sure you click onto Political Pulse Live. And on Twitter, it's Political Pulse 2. Until next time, folks, America, you have a great night.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Oh, yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I forgot about that. I got kids. I got 4 kids. I don't even remember holidays. I found the whole thing for tomorrow, and I completely forgot about it.
And Brazil plays tomorrow at 2:00. It's a double holiday.
Oh.
And then there's football, too. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, America.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.